Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 144, and today we're going to be jumping back into the Gauntlet. And so, before we jump into the video, the usual disclaimers up front. I won't talk about the individual decks and how to play them. You can find that littered throughout our channel, throughout the history of what we've put together. We'll just talk a little bit about our best of three strategy, and then some of the kind of offbeat numbers that you would see within a deck list compared to what you would see in the ladder. The second thing that we're going to bring out is we did win our last chance qualifier in the previous video. Spoiler alert, we'll be jumping into seasonals again, and just with the way that life treats me as an old man, I have to spend a lot of my content creation time doubled up with preparing for seasonals. And so in this video, we're going to be saying the same lineup. We're going to be playing Akshan Kaisa, we're going to be playing Scouts, and we're going to be playing Tryndamere. And you should look to see some of these individual videos coming up throughout the remainder of the week. And so if you're looking for something new, I'm sorry. It's either do something new and not practice for seasonals and not make content, or practice for seasonals doubled up with the content creation, and we take the last option. I feel like it's better than nothing. And so it's a little unfortunate if you want something new, but I'll try to still deliver you some of that great life knowledge I know everyone comes here for, because it's certainly not for the great gameplay. And so at any rate, the idea with our best of three strategy, I'll hit you with the spreadsheet real quick, is we just intend to ban Kaisa. I've started to kind of fall into the camp of just play the best deck, and if your opponent bans it, fine, and if they bring it, fine, we'll just ban it. And so I felt like that was one of the strategies that we really missed in the last season, with the kind of real power behind both Talia Lysandra and with Aphelios Victor. Even if you don't want to just play the Aphelios Victor mirror match all the time, you can just ban their Aphelios. And so I feel like Kaisa is far and away the best the best deck in the format. There's a lot of different flavors of Kaisa. I personally am going for the action version, given that Pirates is so prevalent right now, and I really want to be ready for it in the early game. I would much rather on turn 2 have access to action than have access to Rite of Calling. And so I am going to kind of make a little bit of mention that we're starting to slow our deck down just a little bit, right? As the event goes on, we have to kind of decide if we want to play more towards the early game or more towards the late game. With seasonals coming up, I'm going to push it a little bit more towards the late game, but we'll touch on that here in just a minute. Just know that we are playing Akshan Kaisa, mainly because of the acceptance of Pirates being around so much, and our intention to not ban it. The next two that we'll be bringing are Scouts and Tryndamere. Scouts and Tryndamere both have good matchups against Darkness, and they have good matchups against Pirates. And so that's the kind of cornerstone to our lineup now, is that I assume that our opponent is just always going to ban our Kaisa, unless they have some kind of really specific anti-Kaisa strategy. They're probably just banning our Kaisa, and then if they're going to go towards the aggro end of the spectrum, they're probably playing Pirates. If they're going to go towards the control end of the spectrum, we're probably playing Darkness. And so the idea with the remainder of this lineup is that regardless of how our opponent goes, they're probably playing one of these two decks. And so we should have at least some kind of decent matchup against those. Otherwise, I do want to, call out and take note of the big all-in aggro strategies against, say, like Pirates, Anti-Gen, and Elise. We have decent matchups there. And then down at the bottom right, we have the kind of more standard control package lineups of, say, Darkness, Heimerdinger, Jace, and Trundlemere. And the thing that we kind of start to see with these is they don't include Kaisa, which I think is going to be kind of a coin flip as to whether or not you're, say, playing Senna, Heimerdinger, Jace, and then also including Kaisa, at which point we can just ban Kaisa. But if you're not bringing Kaisa, then we have some pretty safe bans across the board. And so I like how our lineup plays in those terms. And so now as we move on to the actual deck lists, when we went into the last chance gauntlet, I expected there to be a lot more aggro than Darkness, right? If we stay and look at this in the through the lens of seasonals, right? Seasonals, you have to play 9 rounds on day 1. I assume 2 of those rounds are just going to be a bunch of kind of wild card decks, and then in those remaining 7, I feel like we would see the darkness-based control lineup 4 or 5 times, and then we would see a pirates-based aggro lineup 2 or 3 times. So when it comes to seasonals, I want to be more prepared for darkness, but when it came to the Last Chance Gauntlet, I felt like that would be kind of flipped. I felt like if we had to play 7 matches against on-meta lineups, we would probably play 4 or 5 against pirates and then 2 or 3 against the darkness things. So in the previous video, our Akshan Kaisa deck was a little bit more geared towards the aggro end of the spectrum. And now I'm kind of swapping it to help us prepare for seasonals and being a little bit slower. And so in terms of our lineup, now compared to then, I've dropped 1 copy of Void Abomination. Now, I do concede that this is quite good against the control decks, but I'm trying to basically win the game on turn 7 and not find ourselves in these spots to where we have to play 2 copies of Void Abomination. So we should hopefully ideally draw 1 by turn 8. But we aren't looking to play 2 copies. The place where we're going to really get that punch that the Void Abomination brings is the inclusion of Gen Vivi. Gen Vivi does a lot of the similar things that you would get out of the Quinn bird. It is a way to get both Scout and Challenger onto your Kaisa, but she just has this ability to come in and really boost our width, and then have this punch to where she can come in and just deal 10 damage on her own. And so it's a slight departure from being entirely reliant on Void Abomination, while not completely annihilating our curve to where we're playing 2 Radiants, 2 Gen Vivis, and 3 Void Abominations. Down at the other end of the spectrum, I've cut out 1 Bethel the Elder. I'm just not as super interested in the Elder, and the addition of Gen Vivi does give us these spots to where Kaisa isn't really in that must-win style of stage. Also cut out 1 copy of Blinding Assault since we've picked up this more mid-rangey style card. Then the last piece of the puzzle that we have here is I've included in 1 Quicksand and 1 Supercharge. Quicksand being the kind of concession that we do need to still combat some of these aggro decks. I like Quicksand and that it helps us ideally, win a combat, but then also deal with the likes of Zap Sprayfin. It's also quite good, against Akshan Kaisa. I don't intend to ever not ban it, but there are some times where we need to just zap the keywords, and I do enjoy the access to Quicksand. Otherwise, our other 2 decks are still the same from the previous video. In terms of our scouts, we're playing the triple Gen Vivi version. No Cythrias of the Bolds. I like having, this punch to where if we're expecting kind of control lineups, a lot of the control decks play a bunch of AoEs. Those AoEs make it a little bit more challenging for Cythria to pop off, to whereas Gen Vivi can just deal 10 damage on her own. And then we're also still including the 2 copies of Radiant Guardian as our kind of concession to pirates. Mirai Warden also fits the bill there. And then ideally against the control-y style decks, we're able to just kind of turbocharge our Misfortunes and our Quins, given that with the Gen Vivis, the Island Navigators, and with the Gen Vivis and the Island Navigators, we have the Scout package necessary to hit those level ups quickly. Last but not least, again, the same Tryndamere list from before. Have not made any edits to this to slow it down. I think it is still slow enough, and so we're playing a bit more of a anti-pirates package with all of the lifesteal, playing the 3 copies of Vile Feast, 3 copies of Withering Wail, but I have to stop and see if we want to include basically 1 card that just doesn't get domed by Rite of Negation, right? That's the big problem you run into with the control decks. I'm still happy with the 3 copies of Feel the Rush. It's just going to be a matter of, are we willing to cut a Withering Wail for another expensive dude? And I haven't quite decided if I want to make that flip yet. So we're still playing the same deck list from before. And so that's it. That's our 3 decks. Let's go ahead and jump on into battle. I checked the pay-to-win price. The only thing we have remaining now are epics. And so we did epic out our Feel the Rush in the previous video. I don't feel like we need to do it for this one. We'll save it up for seasonals and purchase something sweet. Am I right? But our Akshan Kaisa is fully premium. Our Scouts deck's fully premium. Just a little bit to go beyond that. Okay, so interesting lineup. Whatever this middle deck is, I'm not banning it. The kind of Katarina-based Scouts-looking thing that has Fioras in it. I don't know what you're doing. I don't care to play against that. And so our choices now are going to come down to, do we want to play against Annie Jen, or do we want to play against the Sun Disk? Both of the matchups are reasonably fine, but playing against random people in the Gauntlet, I feel like this is a space to where I should have a gameplay edge. You know, no disrespect to Mark Hurst Ray 4, but I feel like given that we're just playing against a random person, I would rather play against the random person piloting the Sundisk than having them pilot Annie Gen. Annie Gen just has a lot more oops, I win draws to where you don't quite see that as much as the Sundisk. I still have, a lot of thoughts and feelings in terms of people underestimating the amount of skill that it takes to play an aggro deck. That's a different story for a different day. I do think that Annie Gen just has these draws, though, as to where they go, one drop, one drop, one drop into one drop, two drop, and you're just like, oh, well, I stumbled, and so it's not to say that I don't think Annie Gen is more or less difficult to pilot than the Sundisk. I just don't think I want to deal with those oops, I win style draws. Are they here? Are we even going to battle? Okay, he bans out Tryndamere. That's fine. We'll go ahead and start with Scouts. I'm fine to play either of these matchups into any of these other decks, but I do feel like the Kaisa is going to have the stronger matchup against both of them, and so if we have to play our weaker matchups, we'll play with Scouts. Oh shit! There we are. We're back. I forgot to hit the record button. I had to pause it there for a moment. So we've got our Scouts up against the Sundisk. We had a hand that was 2 Bright Steel Protectors and 2 expensive cards, so we took a full mulligan and landed here. Seems like opponent might actually be AFK, so we might just be grabbing the free win out of this match. But I don't think any of the Bright Steel Protectors are worth hanging on to. Right? You do find yourself in these spots to where you're just like, well, I have to have a 2-drop. Right, I want to have a 2-drop to put on the board. That's not quite how it feels with the against the Sundisk. We're not going to just look to trade our 2 for our opponent's Ruin Runner or for our opponent's 1-drop thing, 1-drop thing that generates a spell. So the way we tend to close out these games against the Sundisk is building up a full board and then hitting with the Golden Aegis, and those single Bright Steel Protectors don't play in that way. But seems like opponent isn't here. Might be getting a freebie. So you can't catch that prom glory if you're not actually here. Maybe he's just roping it the whole way. Who knows? Can't tell. I can't tell if the timer is making its whole way down, but nope, it's certainly moving faster now. He said, "I'm just trying to help people reach their dreams of hitting their seasonal's birth. So I'm just going to go ahead, skip out of the game, join in, queue up, concede, join in, queue up, concede. Just inch people along, help them just a little bit." Derp, derp, derp. I think we're there. We might have got it. Toughest victory of the day. Oh, next turn. All right. We'll play Misfortune. We'll see how long it takes. I don't remember how it works in this game. I've never quite figured out how the rope mechanic works in terms of ending the game, but feels like we're there. That phone in the toilet, and they're trying to dig it out. Got that dirty poo water all over his phone. He says, oh no, what a terrible day. All right. Maybe this will be the turn the game says, we're done. We're complete. Nothing more is needed. We even lethal this turn? Might be close. 6, 9, got 10 more coming in. We're a little short. Can't quite get him to that make it rain kill stage. Could talk about Master Yi though. I haven't got him pulled up yet. I've read about it. He's kind of interesting, I guess. That's that. I feel like that's how we talk about Ionia in general. You just I guess it's kind of interesting. I've seen better. I've seen worse. But at least with my understanding in flow just happens once. So you can't just go for like big, gigantic Yi hits across the turn. And so I think a lot of the flow mechanic will come down to how much can you activate the ability and get the flow thing going with while still putting stuff on the board and still coming down and interacting, right? In large part, I know that Eye of the Dragon that generates the Dragonlings is a little bit different, right? She doesn't operate off of skills, but that's been kind of the only baseline throughout the history we've had for flow cards. And she kind of, makes it work, but in more of a control-y shell. And I don't think that's where the future of flow was really pushing, right? You're going to try and play a spell, and then on your next turn, you're going to try and play an equipment or something, like, right, that equipment at -2 cost or something. And at that point, are you able to, like, play the equipment and then play 2 more spells to keep the flow going over and over again? Or are you going to have to try and just break? Hey, opponent's back. And I'm curious to see how all that plays out, right? We always talked about the Taric problem in terms of you have to have like Taric on the board, and then say Taric is the only play that you have. And so you go into turn 5, you have to make another unit hit the board so that you can use the Taric ability, and then you have to have the mana to play the spell to cast on Taric to shift onto the other unit. And I'm just not, without seeing the cards in action, it's tough to tell if they're going to be, how they're going to stand. If it's going to work in aggro decks or mid-rangey deck, control deck, whatever. It's another one like with Kane, to where it's kind of tough to evaluate how good this stuff will be. But I just kind of assume that since it's Ionia, it's going to be garbage, right? Nah, there'll be interesting stuff. There'll be interesting things with it. Master Yi does have a lot of OTK potential, to where the Master Yi ability says that it gives +2 to all of your Master Yis. And so you can play one early, try and get some flows going, assume that he's going to die. And then on like turn 7 or so, you can come in and blast for a pretty unreal amount of damage. You can give him elusive with something like Ghost, and then you can protect it with Deny. And so I don't think we're going to be back into the world of when like the Lee Sin decks were kind of running rampant through the game. Now, granted, I didn't play. I was just playing Expedition there, so I'm not really familiar with that scene either. But I'm not entirely certain if that's what the game would start pushing towards. But anyways, here, back to the action. I'm going to drop the Broadwing. We're going to start pushing for damage and not go for a like an action-based value play. And so if we're only going to be able to play one card next turn, I do want to be able to get the Durande Protege on board, and then I want our Broadwing to be able to kill whatever opponent plays and still survive. He hasn't done too much in terms of getting on board here, so I think we'll be okay. But this is about damage. This isn't about value. We're never going to outvalue the Sun Disk. Sure. Got our Evolve up to 3. We're getting pretty close to hitting. That's some of the downside of shifting around the units like we have, right? We're only playing 2 copies of Merciless Hunter. We're kind of more doubled up on things like Challenger and Scout. But the Gen VV does let us kind of switch into more of a board control style play, as opposed to just going for bigger styled. This was the wrong one. I forgot. I was talking and I just kind of let the game slip. We should have just played our 4/4. Now we can hook in our action. Oh, he's just not going to take it though. Okay. Well, let's stop there while we can. Golden Aegeus. We can get a flip to Golden Aegeus. Void Blaster will give us our 5th keyword, and then the Aegis will give us our 6th keyword.
All of this is ours. This is gonna sting.
Seems reasonable enough. He's not going to add anything else to the board this turn. Then we get to dome him pretty hard. I mean, is that even where we want to be? Or we're just going to be better off just dropping Kai'Sa next turn and going for Kai'Sa plays? I mean, probably. Let's be real. I think we still wanted to add the Void Blaster. He was the only combat-capable unit on that board.
Bask in the sunlight.
Okay. Do not care about this value he's getting out of the Golden Ambassadors. What's he gonna do? Play a Nasus this turn? Don't think so. I don't think that's quite in the cards. Again, we could drop a barrier to pick up the Evolve for this turn. I don't think that's particularly necessary. We're not going to be getting a lethal this turn. Oh, don't mind if I do. It's another way to pick up the Evolve. Just drop the Blinding Assault. Then we still have the mana. We can overwrite our action landmark with the Bethel the Elder. I don't feel like this is a spot to where we want to target something with the Golden Aegis and then do a grappling hook. I think we just want the attacks this turn. Do have to like minorly worry about them playing stuff like Quicksand. Right, Quicksand would be fairly annoying on this turn, but I don't feel like it's that big of a deal. Right, if he's spending 3 mana to just not die, then he's not building up the board. Just kind of a slow bleed. Uh-oh, what is this? Slow spell is going to be like a Siphoning Strike? Oh shit, all kinds of stuff. Okay. I don't understand. We could have looked to say just like preemptively Golden Aegis the Kai'Sa. Like, is that Zig's bomb thing even Shuriman? Zig's is, or is it a Bandle City? All right, this game's done.
I am the hunter.
So what do we got? This attack just outright kills the Ambassador, so we'll take that block away.
There's nowhere to hide.
All right, I think we're gonna get him.
I'm coming for you.
Don't have any of those manas. All right, GG. All right,
A small
take down the first victory.
thing.
Nice to win a game. You know, that first one wasn't a real game, but the second one took down pretty handily. Well done, Kai'Sa. All right, next battle. What do we got here? A bunch of weird shit. I mean, sure. The deck here that scares me the most is Nautilus, right? This is the Sea Monsters is a style of deck to where, if you want to say look back at the previous season and why Scouts wasn't good, it was because of decks like Bard, right? Bard just puts more stats on the board than Scouts can deal with, and we just don't really line up well against that. And so I would be fine with any of our decks against Karma Victor. I've kind of talked more and more about why I think Karma is a terrible champion, and that, like, why do you want to play a control deck that can't win the game in turn 11 or turn 12 when we could just play Feel the Rush and win the game on turn 9? And so I'm willing to just do battle against it. The Aphelios deck, not really certain what's going to be coming out of it, but I think we're kind of lined up decently to deal with anything Bandle City. And so Sea Monsters catches the ban. surprising. Nobody wants to ban out the Akshan Kaisa today. And we'll just take the same idea forward. I feel like the Akshan Kaisa is just going to have a slightly higher win rate than the Scouts against either of these decks. And so if we have to play a worse matchup, we'll play our worst matchup twice. Is dude even here? What's the deal with people today? Why are you the way that you are? What do we got? Not much of a start, so we'll just go ahead and hard mulligan everything away. Look for some cheaper plays here. I would like to have an early game challenger that can get in front of a Zoe, just to keep her from popping off too early. Now, I don't think opponents here. we have another one of these, but with this space, it's like if he plays Zoe, we'll attack. If he doesn't play Zoe, we'll just wait, and then we can try and sharp sight her down the following turn. It's not entirely necessary that we do, since we do have Misfortune, and we can Fleet Feather Tracker and hook a Zoe and just deal the point of damage to her. But being that they're playing Bandle City, I assume that they're going to have a bunch of dudes like this, like the Dustbringer, like the Conchologist, and we should just have like plenty of 1 health targets to where we could just go ahead and try and take down Zoe right from the get-go. There'll be something good later that we can also take down.
Lunari, rise.
Okay. All the sharp sights, look out.
It found you.
Drawn all 3. I guess I should talk about this deck in terms of as we look to be better against the control decks of the format. We used to play quite a bit of Stony Suppressor Scouts, as to where you didn't use Stony Suppressor as the means to just try and outright win the game, but you would play against a lot of lineups that would contain like some amount of like Victor, right? Victor Aphelios was pretty popular. You would have a bunch of lineups that would be playing Tri-Beam Ezreal, and then you would have Darkness. And so that was a fairly common lineup for you to encounter. And that was a place where the Stony Suppressor was quite good. It doesn't just outright win you the game, but if they're having to pay mana for Victor, then that's pretty bad. And if they're having to spend 3 mana on their Mystic Shots, it does just like exceptional work at slowing them down to give you time to build up just an absolutely gigantic board. And it's not really necessary anymore. I don't think this is the spot to be bringing that kind of strategy, but something to think about still.
Astounding curiosities lie ahead.
All right, pretty awkward draw though. All the sharp sights, all the Gen VVs. We could have looked to have gotten in front of this, right? We could have sharp-sighted our Misfortune and put forth a block. That is also protected from pretty much everything that they have. You can't come in and Gravitum the Misfortune, but ultimately didn't feel super necessary to get in front of. And now I am kind of on board with just protecting our Fleet Feather Tracker. We don't have anything to do. And so let's just go ahead and give it the 2 spell protection. I know that we're giving up a lot of card advantage for this, right? He's playing 1 generated card for our 2 real cards, but those sharp sights are going to be falling off. If he has to spend his double stun onto Fleet Feather Tracker, then that's pretty good for us. And then we'll have a bit of opportunity here to see where we want to drop this Bright Steel. I don't want to Bright Steel the Tracker and then have it get double stunned, and I don't want to Misfortune, or just target the Misfortune unnecessarily. And so we'll see if he like leads out with it or not.
Bask in her radiant blessing.
He doesn't. Can't just wait, right? We could look to hook Aphelios with the Fleet Feather Tracker. And I think I'm okay with this. Well, it's like, how bad is a Pale Cascade going to be for us? Let's just make him spend his mana. So we should have the knowledge kind of up front now, right? If he doesn't play the Gravitum onto our Fleet Feather Tracker, then he's probably just got a Pale Cascade in hand. Makes the hook into Aphelios a bit weaker. And then if he does play the Gravitum, then that's, you know, not a big surprise. All right, making those big decisions. Oh, interesting. There's just nothing. So let's bring him. Genvivi's not enough to boost our units out of the range of these things. And then we're going to still pick up another unit next turn with our... Got a Pokestick. Okay. Oh, that Starry Scamp was free. Guess he did pick up a Daybreak Celestial. Okay. But we're going to be picking up a free unit next turn with the Watchful Idol. And so it's not like we're going to have a completely empty board here. We do need to be winning this quickly, though. He has right around 1 million cards in his hand. And so this game needs to end sooner than later. It's like a double stun coming in on Genvivi. And then I would assume he's just going to pick up the Crescendum out of this. Yeah. Okay. You gonna do anything else cool? All right. Not too scary.
What wondrous discoveries await below.
So ideally, we'll be able to get a double attack in this turn. Much rather have Quinn than Genvivi. We'll just go ahead and drop her. We're not going to have the space on board to get the Durandi Sculptor going, but Quinn's quite strong here. And then if he had like a single answer to one of our... not bad. So if he had a single answer to one of our... our scout units, then we would have still been in a pretty good spot to get multiple attacks in. All right, let's see. He hasn't played any Pale Cascades yet this game, so I don't feel like super likely that we're going to get to keep our Quinn. But I don't think she's incredibly important here on this board. She might still be getting Pokesticked. It's not ultra safe, but if we get an opportunity coming into next turn to level her up a bit with the Genvivi, might be okay. We should have played the Durandi Sculptor last turn. No reason to leave her off the board. Now we're in a bit of a pickle because we can't completely refill.
My strength is yours.
Just a bit of a pickle. Not a giant one, just a little one. But yeah, missing out on the stats is a little unfortunate. Opponent's running out of time here, thinking really hard on this. I still don't completely understand how this works. I think the timer's meaningless until it completely wears down the big timer, and so it's kind of fucking stupid in my opinion. But you know, nobody asked me. Oh, this is going to be huge now, isn't it? He's able to 3 damage our Genvivi and then take her down with the Serpent. That's kind of problematic. Don't talk so much, Bust. Keep your keep your chatter to a minimum. But yeah, I don't understand why they didn't just choose the chess clock. You know, if we're going to, you know, try to keep a reasonable pacing to the game, and the opponent takes 20 more minutes than I do, and then they don't get punished for it until the timer completely runs down. That's a little on the dumb end of the spectrum, if you if you want my opinion on the matter. Okay, Rip Quinn. Need something. We need to spend some mana next turn. Picking up like a 3-drop and playing a Fleet Feather Tracker on turn 9 with 12 mana isn't quite enough. Okay. Dead Genvivi, sure. And a double stun. We'll pick up our draw and then call it a day. No need to drag this one out. Well, I mean, I guess there is a realistic reason to it. If we were playing Magic, I would just start F6ing this guy. But that's not the way that this game works. We can still be in it.
A little reinforcement at the seams.
Looking at the Vanguard Sergeant was a big draw. I think we have to do it this turn, though. Ideally, we would have some more build-up. We would like to see if we could go into the next turn and then pop off with a Golden Aegis, but we have to get the Aphelios off of the board. He should be sort of down. His Moon Weapon creation last turn was through the Flip Gifts Beyond, so he's been using his Aphelios up to this point. Interesting, and he heals face. Sure. This physical trouble bubble's interesting.
Needs a finishing touch. You can't stop me! Oh, heretic!
Is their timer actually started to go down faster now that they're down into the neg? It should. It should be giving these people like 3 seconds on the turn. It's just a matter of pacing in terms of, right? They're currently taking 5 minutes longer than we have in this game. Sure, go back to 20. Sit here. Check the watch. See how much longer we can take. Alright. Goddess of 2. Good job.
I sculpt what others only dream of.
Are you all having fun? Are we enjoying this? Is this a worthwhile endeavor to sit through? Nope. Sure isn't. And so that's like the downside to that system, right? If we're going to sit here and like be forced to sit through this, the opponent doesn't get punished for it for another 35 minutes. And so, like I get to a degree to where it's like, okay, well, you know, we're trying to have some kind of high level of competition. You should have an opportunity to sit around and think about stuff. But if they're going to take literally twice as long as we are, and then there's going to be no kind of method for punishment for it, it's a little unfortunate. Well, that's not true. There is a method for punishment for it. It just takes a full hour to kick in. I'm just much bigger fan of the chess clock system and Magic Online and chess. You know, the chess clock system in chess, much more practical. Any rate, let's hang on to one Fleet Feather Tracker, see if we can't find a little bit more size for our turn. I don't like running our units into a bunch of static shock kind of cards, and wouldn't be surprised to see this be the style of deck that's going to have like Eye of the Dragons in it. The way that the Eye of the Dragon matchups tend to go is if you can deal with the first one, you're probably okay. But if they get a second one on the board, then you're just going to lose the game. And so I really want to come out and find a way to deal with that first one. And we need a misfortune or a sharp side or just a bigger unit to make that a realistic possibility. Interesting hit with the Boisterous Host. Get those Halloeds for the rest of the game.
I fight with my
Yep.
spirit, not my fists. For the tribe! Ready yourself.
All right, and so again, if this one we can deal with it quickly, then we should be in the game. If he has a second one, or if we can't deal with this one, we just lose the game. So it's pretty straightforward, the play patterns that go into the Eye of the Dragon. What up, Ridge?
I help when I can. Shut up when I can.
This is so boring. I'm already ready to concede. It's just, I don't know. It's just like the way I look at a lot of this stuff is like, do you want to just sit around and do math problems? Like, is that fun? I'm sure some people enjoy it. People enjoy a lot of things in the world, but just not an entertaining moment. I don't know what I'm supposed to sit around and talk about when this stuff happens. Just okay. I guess we're doing something. Very fun. Very fun. Need something more on the screen, right? Well, at least if you're playing Hearthstone, you have stuff on the screen that you can click. You can make some things happen that way. But here we're just at the mercy of this boring fuck. So I think I know what's happened. I've completely figured out what's happened with this match. Is it's not Friday, right? This is the kind of person that is going to spend their Friday night sitting around playing chess by themselves. And it's a Sunday now. It's a Sunday for me, and so they must have said, "Boy, I had a riveting Friday night. I sat around and played chess by myself. My friends invited me over. My friends wanted to hang out. They said, "Yo, Tad is he? You want to come hang out? You want to spend some time with your friends?" And they're just like, "Nah. I got this chessboard. I'm gonna just sit here and play chess by myself. I'm the white player on the first move. I'm the black player on the second move. You know, it's a lot more interesting when I don't have to deal with other humans, and so that's what I'm doing, yo."
We Demacians are no easy prey.
All right, we'll go ahead and deploy Quinn. Kind of slipped on me that the bird was going to fall, but it is what it is. We need to get her going. As long as we're not getting hit by a thermogenic beam, then I think we're in a fairly okay space. Misfortune comes to the party. I think she's just a little bit too slow at this point. We're not going to get any real bonuses out of adding her to the board. So Genvivi it is. We're kind of ready for a pretty hefty combat here with both the Ranger's Resolve and the Sharp Sight. We're going to look to Sharp Sight Genvivi into Victor at some point, but that'll be after our initial attack. The big thing would be to consider if the Sharp Sight plus Ranger's Resolve would be enough to take both of them down. You'd be taking like 5 damage plus 2 damage would take us to 7. It's a little bit short for Genvivi. Just hang out. Take another 15 to 20 seconds before we decide what we're going to do. Can't wait. It's riveting. Okay. The cat is out of the bag. We're dropping the Ranger's Resolve. Gotta stop and think about it. Take another 20 to 30 seconds of assessment. Get a step ahead of a step ahead of a step ahead. I believe in it. So boring. Sorry. I don't know. I would just go ahead. Just skip ahead. Just skip ahead in the video. We're going to be here, I don't know, another 45 minutes. Just shift 45 minutes ahead in the video and enjoy yourself. It's like I'm really tempted to just stop it. This is fun for no one. Okay, are we going to play a Homecoming now? Sure. You got it. Alright, Quinn does her thing a little bit. Definitely attacking with everybody again, especially since we have the Sharp Sight in hand. Try and take down the Victor. I don't feel like he's going to block. He needs Victor to win this game, and so risking him in a trade is kind of scary. But hopefully we're shooting far enough ahead. What do Forge Workers even cost? 3? It's not a particularly good deal to add back to the board.
I'm one of the good guys.
Alright, I'm going to look to add Misfortune and add the Quinn Bird. And then next turn we could add in Genvivi. They should have a pretty tough time dealing with all of that. Even if they start to have like Concussive Palm style cards. It should be a little bit tough to manage. He has Overwhelm. This is only going to prevent a single point of damage, but we're in a spot to where it's pretty easy for us to just come out and fill out our board. And so let's just go ahead and pick up the Hallowed and then take the space away. Not too worried about the damage. He's not going to be hitting a. I guess there is a world to where he can play cards like Tail of the Dragon or Kick of the Dragon or whatever the Lee Sin card is called, but I don't feel like that's really going to be something in our future. The thing to be on the watch out for here would be getting hit by a the card that Bear Your Lifesteal card. Strikes me as something that they might have in their wheelhouse. I think we're maybe a little bit short of trying to get around that this turn, but let's see. We're in this kind of odd spot to where we could like attack with just Quinn on the left, and then Quinn will have enough stats to take down Victor, but let's see if we can't just swing around this a little bit. Golden Aegis was a huge addition as well. Radiant Guardian ready to party. She says, I'm here. I'm here for the Pirates games, but I show up at the wrong time on occasion. Say what up. This card was such a pain in the ass in Expedition. I'm glad to not play against her anymore. She feels fine in Constructed. There's like a reasonable amount of ways to just deal with her in Constructed, but man, trying to get around the Radiant Guardian Expedition was a real and righteous pain. So what are we going to do here now, right? I don't think I particularly care about the Victor. In that, like, I'm looking to say, Quinn, let's take the trade onto the bird, or on, we'll take the, we could look to trade across both, right? We could put Valor on the worker, Genvivi in front of Victor, but I think we want to hang out with our Genvivi here. In the event that he has some kind of interactivity, we'll still have our unit behind. And then we can ideally play the Golden Aegis onto Genvivi and then use her to hook in Victor for the next one. We'll also be getting a Quinn bird. If he's going to homecoming here, we won't get the Quinn bird out of this, but she feels like she should be fairly safe. Like, is he really going to homecoming Victor back to hit Quinn? This feels like he's playing the Tellstones to hit a... Wow. Looks like he's playing the Tellstones to hit a health potion. Okay. So now we have the free Genvivi hook into Victor, and he needs 2 cards to stop our attack. All right. Made a Poro. Needs to be in this order, so we hit the Hallowed on our Bloodletter. Sure. Let's see how long it takes between playing the Golden Aegis and us and getting the concession. I can't wait. I can't wait to see how long this takes. Okay. All right. On to game 3. If those of you still here with us, we get to take our Kaisa deck up against this thing. I'm just excited to get to sit around some more. It's like time is not of the essence of me, apparently. I'm just here to sit and stare at the screen and wait. Think a little harder, think a little longer. We could. Not going to. I mean, it is what it is. All right, lots of actions coming at us. Bring in the Fearsome. We're only playing the two copies of what's her name? The 2 copies of Merciless Hunter, and I'm looking to take the Merciless Hunter out of the deck actually, and so we'll see if that's something that comes to fruition before seasonals. I just can't quite decide if that's going a little bit too far overboard in terms of having abilities that you can put on the board. How much you have to then count on things like Voidling to just work. Do we want to try and go for a grappling hook next turn? So say like we play the Betheldi Elder here. Are you too expensive? Right, we need like 5 mana next turn. We just need to bank 1. That can work.
If I can save a life, I must. I fight with my spirit, not my fists.
Okay, happy to kill that shit. Well, so much for the grappling hook plan. And now we got to deal with a Dragonling, single one. Our attack should be good into it. Right, we'll have Akshan. Akshan quick attacks it. We can put barrier onto the Elder. The Elder makes it a 0 damage attack, and then our Voidling has Fearsome. We'll miss out on the Fearsome if we don't go right now, though. Okay. Right, because he plays his Hex Core thing. Victor grows up to a 3, and then the 3 can block our Fearsome after that. So it's a little worrisome. We're going to have to deal with this stupid Eye of the Dragon for the remainder of the game. Just don't have any active ways to come down and deal with it. But he's not really presenting big threats. Hitting Challenger on Victor is kind of awkward, but I think we can deal with that. See how fast he comes at us. We will want to get our action barriered. He's about to flip. I think. Like, at what stage are we giving up too much just for our... Right, how much mana is too much if we're going to look to go into next turn, play the Jin VV, and then have access to Sharp Sight? That's close. Alright, so we can lose something else now, and that's fine. We'll still have the Jin VV to add to the board, but she's not killing, or the Victor's not killing our big and important units here. It's Pulsefire Action. Check out that beard. Who's got a better beard? Me or Action? Maybe I can pull one of these things off. Gotta get the little hook on the end. See if we can do that. What do we got? Looking at Kaisa. I mean, I'm not super interested in concerted strikes anymore because we're just going to like only want to target Victor, and Victor's already got Spell Shield, so it's going to be a little painful to deal with. I think this is okay here. And we'll be kind of looking at this space to where we're not going to be playing Kaisa next turn. We can play Kaisa on turn 7, Void Abomination on turn 8, and then we can play the second skin on the Void Abomination and try and pick up all of the abilities. Okay. Say, just please don't kill me, Akshan. It's Akshan, dude. His name's Akshan. So I gotta get the game fixed. Out here saying cards' names wrong. Okay, that's a Victor Death Ray as well. It's down to 2 cards. Not nearly as scary. Hi, Jin VV. Let's get to battle. Lifesteal. So do we ever do something like different here to where we try and hook? I can't imagine like trying to hook the Dragonling out of combat because our Jin VV will survive and then expecting him to block our other units with Victor. I can't imagine that's going to happen. Right back to hand, girl. Alright, and then he can block stuff with Victor. I have to assume that he doesn't want to. So these other cards are just like, is he going to trade with the ballistic bots? That would be okay. If he wants to put Eye of the Dragon in front of something, then by all means, go for it. I think we're pretty safe across the board here, especially with the 2 sharp sights in hand. Can refill and gain 1,000,000 health on a follow-up turn, but like he eventually has to put this Victor into combat. Okay, and he's down to 2 cards. Okay, is he just digging for elusive or overwhelm? He's finally hit himself in overwhelm. This is fine. If he wants to put a hook in Kaisa with Victor, then I'm not entirely sure how he wins the game after that. So I think we're safe. Well, I mean, I guess the place where we would have to look out for a loss is he plays Ignition again, and then he hooks our Bright Steel Protector with his now Overwhelming Victor. Overwhelm was actually a pretty big stat for him to hit, right? If he hit Elusive, this would be very easy. But now that he's hit Overwhelm, we have to worry about getting burned out. We might actually just be dead here. Oh, man, is that really the way this is going to go? We'll prevent 5 out of Victor. Fucking A. God damn it. It's going to be enough. The Overwhelm was enough to take it. We can only come out with 4 damage out of hand. Oh, that's so frustrating. It's not so much losing the match I care about, it's just taking so long to have that actually come down. And then have it to come down to be like, okay, well, I guess you win this game. Maybe like 20% of the time, given the number of stats that were left. I mean, I guess we could have Rite of Negation to that Victor thing, but that's a pretty tough spot to look to go after a thing like that. But alrighty, hopefully this guy can play a little bit faster. Here, again, same strategy. We're just going to ban Kaisa. He takes down Trundlemere, that's fine. And then we'll start with Scouts. I'm happy with both of these matches with Scouts. Oh, so frustrating. It's just like so demoralizing to have to just fucking sit here for 45 minutes while your opponent takes forever and then just have it pass. Like, I'm okay with things if it's like we're on like in seasonals, right? If we're in like round 7 of seasonals and we're 7-0, if we're playing like in the top cut, you know, fine. Take the full amount of the thing, but this is like these are the games that I just auto concede when we're playing ladder, because like if you stop and say like, okay, what is the kind of like collection of people that would enjoy this, right? And that's just like such a small percentage of the ladder wants to just sit around forever while dipshit thinks for hours and hours upon end. It's just so ultimately frustrating. Anyways, we'll get over it eventually. I'll stop bitching at some point before the day's done. There's just a time and a place for everything, and the Last Chance Gauntlet isn't the place for what we just played. Alright, anywho. Reasonable board now. Get our bird online. We want to go for the barrier. We're not going to get like to a space to where we can attack through the 2/3 by playing Mirai Wardens, so just come at it this direction. If he has a quicksand to shut down our Broadwing, it's fine. I'm happy with that quicksand. Hmm. All right, now we're just getting ourselves built up to this Gen VV, and so we'll see if we get the opportunity to trade off anything on the board here. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case. We could still just lead off with the Vanguard Sergeant and then see what the board's going to look like. But at the end of the day, we want to have 5 units, and then Gen VV will come down next turn. I mean, we could skip the Gen VV and just go straight for the Tryndamere. It's like, hey, this is okay. We're giving up like the big attacks, right? He'll have the opportunity to put some stuff on board. We'll just kill 4 of his units and be, yeah, we're not gonna be anywhere near a kill next turn. But I think this is okay still. Gonna take him a lot of mana to claw back out of this, and it's like just adding Viego to the board here does not feel good. Yeah. Is that how we want to go? We want to keep our Broadwing. Otherwise, I mean, I guess can come in this way with it. No, we'll want it to keep its health. He's going to get to trade on our 2 of our units. That's fine. We can refill right back up. I mean, if he gets... Again, we do have the Ranger's Resolve. If he takes the value blocks across the board, we can still protect out of it. This is the matter of... like, when we roll back to 2 turns from now, do we want to play an Aegis plus a Tryndamere or an Aegis plus a Gen VV? And, I mean, we probably do. All right. This also leaves us in a spot to where we can just play the Golden Aegis next turn. Right? If he's going to say play Viego right now, really kind of limits his options to stop us on the following turn. It's digging. Okay. Comes the Rite of Calling. So where are we at here? We hook in the Hydravine. He blocks our next biggest with the Encroaching Mist. That's going to be the Vanguard Sergeant. We get in for 2, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's not quite enough. So we'll just go for a double big play next turn. Okay. Tryndamere coming at you. Oh, he's so big. You're both large and in charge, Viego. Large and in charge. Not too much you can have here. Like, if it's just a Vengeance coming in, it's kind of okay. The Viego's going to get to take a unit down. He's going to get domed for quite a bit. And we should be safe to Aegis through this. Right? He can't... well, I mean, I guess he could Vengeance our Broadwing if he's just going to be in the space to where he's like, well, I'll just lose the game to Aegis anyways. then maybe he goes for it like that. But I think we're well and good now. I mean, I guess he could play like a Camaveran soldier. That would be enough to get him through the turn.
We love it when they run.
Alright, we should be fine now. Quicksand is, well, I guess Quicksand would be enough to take down the Hatchling. He can block each of our big units and then Quicksand the Hatchling to get the full prevent on the damage for the turn. Would kill his Viego in the process, though. Alright, good job, Scouts. We're very proud of you. Onward with Kaisa. It's so weird. It's like everyone's banned our Tryndamere today. I'm getting a little weirded out why people want to battle with Kaisa. I guess she's not really in that space to where she's like a 75-25 against anything. She's just kind of like slightly better than everything in the meta. But it's still very odd to see people want to play against her with lineups that aren't like seriously tuned to take her down, right? If we're seeing people, if we're seeing people play like Ezreal Kennen, then it would, kind of make sense to me in terms of doing battle against Kaisa, but it's not really what we're seeing. I am a little interested in this Viego deck, though. It's against like the slower pieces of the meta, and having access to Rite of Negation is very, very strong. I don't know, like just in terms of, would we rather play something in place of Trundlemere, right? I don't feel like I'm ever going to take Scouts or take Kaisa out of our deck, but we could look to play something in place of Trundlemere. Okay, this is slightly more awkward with our mana playing the Broadwing now, right? We're going to get banked into one and while we still have the Sharp Sight mana up, but I think it's okay.
We love it when they run.
In and out.
We'll get our licks in.
Let's go ahead and get this Dum-Dum off the board. It's another spot to where if he has a Quicksand, it's not that big of a deal. Okay. Not really the time for card advantage. Must have a fairly awkward draw. Not much of an argument to keep the Broadwing around. There's just nothing in this deck that's relevant that it kills, right? We can use it in a space to where we're using it to. Oh man, I wanna try and we can still do all this. There's just not a lot of units that the Broadwing can profitably take down at this point. This is okay. We'll go for the Concerted Strike at this point. Definitely go for the Concerted Strike at this point. Like, what's his angle here? I mean, I think we're safe to just go ahead and do it. I mean, it feels like he's just picked up one of these draws to where he has multiple Viegos, and he has, like, Viego and Rite of Calling and Invasive Hydrovine. Just has, like, a bunch of them, and he just has to find something to do with his mana. Not ultra worried about what's happening to us here. Gonna take this damage. You do have to watch your health a little bit, given that they play Atrocity. But I think on this upcoming turn, we'll get the 5-attack thing out of the Warlord's Palace. We'll have Jinvivi going. I just don't think this is the place where we have to worry about Atrocity. Game's gonna end this turn.
Follow my lead.
Okay. Just dropping blockers. Chronomancer doesn't do anything here. And this is kind of one of the spots to where I'm kind of interested in playing the single copy of Supercharge, because it does play quite well with Jin Vivi. If we're going to say Supercharge Jin Vivi and then hook a Spiderling and then hook something else, we have the opportunity to punch in a big old bunch of overwhelm damage. Okay. Now the Waking Sands. Sure. So it'll be short of lethal. We'll just switch to a card draw. We're well built up for the next round of attacks, though. Kai'Sa's ready to party. I have to see if we can't... we can't keep this Jin Vivi around so that we can do the nice supercharge trick onto her. I have to see how this plays out. Like, if all he does is play Viego, then we're pretty safe to drop Kai'Sa. And then going into next turn with 8 mana, having Kai'Sa and Rite of Negation, yeah, we're good. We're good. This game should be done.
Every move just makes me stronger.
Yeah, say your vengeance is no good here. All right, fun and interactive. So let's see. Are you just going to outright kill anything? Ooh, he's got some nice width here now, so it just doesn't give us the straight kill. We don't have a good attack with Jin Vivi onto this board. We're going to have to wait around. Right? The Kai'Sa's not going to actually kill anything. I guess well, let's just slow down. We can go ahead and we can sharp sight, and that'll get us closer. I mean, let's do this. He only has 1 mana at this point. I was gonna say we have all kinds of shit we can do. Okay, turn it around. I'll be real with you. That previous match had me feeling pretty salty, and I wasn't really feeling like playing anymore. But just getting to smash the opponent there at the end has really kind of lifted my spirits, and we'll continue on. It's just so brutal playing against people like that. I gotta, you have to do something about that, Riot. You can't have your players going, I would rather do something than this. Anything in the world that isn't this, I would rather be doing. And I was pretty close to just quitting the video and saying, sorry, I hope that didn't drain you as well. It's just, I don't know. The percentage of people that want to play like matches of that is so low that if they don't want to play the game anymore, fine. Just get rid of them. But at any rate, odd collection of deck lists coming at us. It looks like a little bit of off-meta stuff. I don't think this is the Sun Disc to the left because it has Sivir in it. This is what I'm going to kind of look at, like those previous matches, as to where we had the guy playing Annie Jen in the Sun Disc, and it looked like a bunch of off-meta stuff. I'm going to come out and just ban this Jinx Darius Riven, as I think this is going to be the deck of the bunch that can just like get out in front of us. Like, I know he has Zed over here. Zed is kind of a worrisome champion in that sense, but I just kind of feel like this Jinx number over here is going to be like a really aggressive P&Z style deck, and I'm just wanting to get rid of it. Then here, I'm going to start with Feel the Rush. I feel like all of these matches should be okay, but Feel the Rush has games to where its draws are mega awkward. And so if we get a really awkward draw somewhat similar to this against a Zed deck, I want to be able to get a second chance, right? With this is exactly what I'm talking about. When you mulligan into double Feel the Rush, Voices of the Old Ones, you have to be able to replay this match. We can't have this be the game decider. Right. Let's just pass it back and forth. No rush 15. Nobody do anything for an hour or so. I'm going to go with the Vengeance here. We're in serious trouble if we go for an Avalanche and then opponent has a barrier, or if they have Twin Disciplines or something, then the Avalanche just completely fails. And so we'll take him down as we can, and then just go ahead and move on here. Interesting pickup in Blighted Ravine. Like, it's tough for him to add enough to the board here to be, you know, really afraid of. I'm okay with this. We'll take the 2. Well, maybe we shouldn't. This isn't a scary board. How greedy do we want to get, right? We have the option to Voices of the Old Ones next turn. To ramp up 2, then we go into his turn. I'm afraid, afraid that we'll go into a space to where we just don't have enough on board, right? When we're completely giving up our next turn. But just playing Blighted Ravine to kill the 1 unit and gain 2 health isn't quite enough either. So, I mean, this turn we can play Trundle instead of playing Voices of the Old Ones. But, like, what's opponent really going to add to the board here that we're scared of? Like, Quinn? What happens if he adds Quinn? That would be a somewhat scary one, and then he gets to open for 7. Maybe that's a little too much there. But on the flip side of the coin, if we just play Trundle, and then he has a Will of Ionia or a bounce spell, then we're pretty out of the game. All right. I'll risk it for the biscuit. Oh, we missed. I guess that's what happens when you start the game off with 2 Fielder Rushes, is you don't have any 8-cost cards in the top of your deck. All right, this is fine. He can open and hit us for 5, but that's not like a super scary open. Then if he doesn't open and we play Trundle, it's kind of okay. The thing with just dropping Trundle is it lets us go into the next turn with Fielder Rush mana. Right, we'll bank 3 off of this and then be able to Fielder Rush next turn. So now if he does pivot, if he has the tempo play to bounce our Trundle, we're still kind of okay. Let's block this one. Like, Twin Disciplines is going to be the common combat trick here. If he has a +3, there's nothing we can do about it, right? But if he has a +2, we can play around it at this point. And so let's just block the Green Fang. Now it feels kind of okay. I mean, do we even worry about deny? Or... Okay. Oh, we have to block. I'm going to say... Oh. What? That's not the way the game works. He's thinking he's going to get another attack token off of this scout attack. We can take this and just fall to 1. So now the new question that we run into is... if we play Feel the Rush and get denied, we just lose. But we do have the option to drop double Blighted Ravine. And that should, like, both full clear his board and... oh shit, wrong one. And... gain us 4 health. But... we might find ourselves a little short this turn now. That's kind of scary. Oh. Alright then. We get to see if this brings us out premium champions. I don't think it does. But, you know, learning experience and stuff. Yeah, those aren't premium. And so how much total damage are we coming in for here? We can hook, like, the Grizzled Ranger either into or out of combat. We're coming in for 35. He's got 6, 7, 8. That's less than 15. Okay. you see how I did that there? He's a little short.
You like frogs, huh?
All right, laser beam. All right, that was close. That was close.
You can't take this crown.
Scout's ready for action now. Ooh, that's scary. That's a tough spots in that one. I feel like we got a little lucky with how that played out, but we got there at the end of the day. Now we got Renekton, Azir, and Sivir. I'm going to look for another early play. We're on the even attacks, and so it's a little odd with this Misfortune and trying to hook down some of their smaller plays, but a lot of the units in their deck are just tiny, and so it's ultimately not super scary in terms, or it's not super hard to find units that we can take down. Don't quite care about the Doomkeeper, and I also don't care about whatever other unit he wants to play this turn. So we'll just go ahead and pass. No need to just like run the Sculptor directly into a Ruthless Predator. I mean, I think I would have been kind of okay with him Predatoring us anyways, but right, if we're just looking to play the Misfortune, but I think we're going to get good value out of this Sculptor here. Absolver, sure. Something, something, something. Absolution. Nailed it. You come here for the top notch in-game commentary. Sivir. Okay. Well, if he wants to block with Sivir, we'll kill her in combat. No, I'm just not letting her sit around. We have plenty of stuff to come out here and refill the board with. So we'll take Sivir down. Don't want to trade the Sculptor for a Shaped Stone, though. Wonder if he just has more Sivirs or if he's just out here being greedy.
Violence, chaos, and destruction.
Alright, we'll wait for an attack. Not want to get Ruthless Predator. Okay. Interesting he chose the Cutthroat over the Durandi Sculptor.
We Demacians are no easy prey. A little reinforcement at the seams.
Alright, looking good.
Just like hunting thresher geese.
We'll do our best to take this Renekton down. I'm going to go ahead and make this hit here. Oh shit, he's flipping. I didn't really anticipate that. I just started doing some mathematics and counting up to 4. 4 was the amount I got to where I determined that we'd done enough. Maybe we got to switch to the Radiant now.
Virtue guides me.
We should still be okay next turn with this Golden Aegis play. He'll be big enough to take down Quinn with the Renekton, but if he doesn't open, then we'll have the chance to play barriers on her. We're getting pretty healthy now. I feel much better about this. Yeah, we can win this without Quinn. So if we spend our 4 mana, it's like if we play the Aegis and then he has like a Quicksand, it's ultimately a humongous failure for the turn. I think we can probably get out of this turn without Quicksanding, and then we can look to our next turn as a means to play like Gen-Vivi plus Golden Aegis. Right, we'll be at 8 mana. We just need to bank 2. Or we could 4 Demacia Golden Aegis if we want. So let's leave our unit behind. Not tango with Renekton. We're only losing 4 here. And then we can make some pretty big attacks next turn. Our Quinn will be safe. This guy's going to shrink down to a 5 attack. Okay. Or I guess realistically we just don't have to Golden Aegis next turn, right? We can just play the Quinn Bird and the 4 Demacia and boom that way. I think that's where I want to be.
A slight adjustment.
Sand soldiers, you got it. Uh-oh. Slightly problematic. So now we can't kill Renekton this turn. It's not the end of the world, but it's kind of annoying. Let's just wait. It's like another spot. If he opens into our Quinn, it kind of sucks, but it's okay. And then if he doesn't open into Quinn, we get to Golden Aegis her, and he shouldn't have anything to do with it. I don't feel like at this point he's going to have Quicksands. Doesn't really seem like the kind of combat trick this deck's going to be playing. Okay. So we lose the one unit. Now we have the mana to play the Sculptor, play the Jin Vivi, start getting a bunch of attacks in. I don't know about you, but I like it.
What others only dream of.
We'll find our prey.
Okay.
Follow my lead.
So Quinn just needs 2 attacks. She can come in here, get the takedown on the Hierophant. Then if we attack again, leave a unit at home, the Quinn Bird will hook the Renekton out of combat.
These woods belong to us.
Boop. Take him to neg 4.
No one escapes my aim.
Aw, she didn't get a new level up animation with this thing. Did you get the thing for the, what's it called? Event pass. Not epic enough. Okay. Fine. Why did I even buy it? People were complaining about that Quinn thing hard. It was super pixelated on the initial version. I don't know if it's still in the initial version or if they cleaned it up a little bit, but that was something that Reddit was ultra unhappy about. McQuinn's all pixelated and her mask looks weird. Okay, moving on. This is a more standard lineup I would expect to be up against in face. I'm fine with playing the Sun Disk with any of our decks. That's the one out here on the right. This one here in the middle is going to be Trundle Timelines. That's what we're going to ban. And I'm also okay with playing against the Echo Zillion rally-based strategy. And so Timelines, it is like a more of like a high-rolly kind of deck. I feel like there's a lot of matches to where this just doesn't win if it doesn't draw the timelines, but that kind of only applies for your aggro matchups, right? If you're playing control decks into this and they don't timelines until turn 7, then they aren't like having that much of a problem. But I think it's a safe one to ban. They take out our Kaisa, sure, and then I'm going to take on that same strategy to where we can have these really weird draws with our Tryndamere deck to where things just don't function right. So we'll go for it here. A little scary against the double Shurima lineup, and that they have the right of negations. And so our Feel the Rushes aren't super safe, but this is kind of the space to where I wouldn't be opposed to adding in, you know, like one more unit that's good and not being ultimately super reliant on Feel the Rush. It's one of the best of 3 strategies we're seeing out here, and that if you want to say, okay, the standard Joe wants to come out here and just play control decks, that's what we're going to see a lot of out of people that are in Masters, like that dipshit we got tired of playing with earlier. He's the kind of person that's going to go herder. Let's come out here and just play a bunch of control decks, right? And so the next level of playing against the control decks would be, well, I want to play decks that are good against the control decks. And that's what you tend to see out of these Shurima lists, to where they have the right of negations and the quicksands to shut down a lot of the things that we're doing. And it's a little worrisome when we have to go up against things like this as a on-meta strategy. God, this shit's fucking annoying. But I don't think I'm quite to the point to where I want to go about it differently. All right, well, we'll get our 8-cost unit next turn when we add Trundle to the board. We could have probably pretty safely just dropped another Faces of the Old Ones and tried to triple ramp after that, but it's not really the... I don't think that's really the route we want to be going here. Just feeling a little bit safer adding the Trundle and getting the unit itself on board and the kind of guaranteed board control we have with this Tavern Keeper.
If we can undo what has been done,
We can, Timekeeper. Let me show you.
All right, so it feels a little safe with the Vengeance, and then we do have to decide, do we want to, say, clear out his board with the likes of our Blighted Ravines, right? The way that they're going to win the game is with their Echoes and the rallies and rallying back all the dead units, and so if you get to clear out all of their units, it feels a little bit better, given that you just have to deal with, like, the one Echo attacking you over and over again, and then 2 Echoes attacking you over and over again, and not a full board of 5 units. But I don't think we're quite there yet. It's like, I guess we can clear out our AoE, but, or I'm sorry, we can clear out our ramp to a degree. That just doesn't feel great.
this one's on the house.
One smack will do.
Listen to me.
Doesn't feel great, I tell you. Alright, then we just need to pick up something to do. I don't think we need to add any of this to the board. We could have tried to attack with the Tavern Keeper there, but he just doesn't deal any damage. So we pick up Trundle number 2. I think I am good to Trundle Quake here. It's going to kill the Echo. He does have the mana backed up to drop a Rite of Negation, but I think this is fine. Like, he hasn't gotten to the point to where he can do a bunch of predicts, and he's just put the, the Chrono Breaks into his deck. And so, you need, at 0 predicts, it's a little bit safer than it would be later on. How do we feel about our cards here? We can drop Blighted Ravines to clear out the Zillion, but if he did just manage to find his Chrono Break, do we lose the game at this point? And maybe, right? Maybe, if you want to revive your allies that died this turn. That's tough. I think we just pass. We're not going to do anything with our ramp here anyways. We get the free hook into Zillion now. That's all okay.
Come on in.
Get ready for a beatdown.
Get ready for a beatdown.
Never had luck, never needed it.
Let's just go ahead and drop it. If he wants to Rite of Negation, he's going to have to use a Mana Crystal here. Okay, doesn't have it. So now he's also just down to 1 Echo. Well, he could have a Chrono Break now, right? Chrono Break would be kind of awkward after we try and kill his Echo. Then he just gets to bring it right back. But he can't attack with his Echo if that's the case. right? If that's the last card in his hand, we can just block Echo with Trundle. Alright, so he's down to 1 Echo left. No ways to recover them. It's a pretty decent spot to be in. Our hand is absolutely worthless, so... No denying that. This hand does nothing here.
The same calling card from our other case.
I mean, we can Avalanche, but... I guess, like, if we don't Avalanche, we're just going to end up losing our Tavern Keeper anyways. I guess we have 2. If he's going to Chrono Break this board, then we can just Avalanche the board away again. We do have to be, like, slightly worrisome of him, say, like, Mystic shotting down our Trundle. But outside of that, I think this is okay. Chrono Break? Yep. I mean, let's be real. This isn't even close to killing us. I'm not going to risk our Trundle here. We'll just let him attack, and we'll fall down a little bit and not worry about it. We can Blighted Ravine this board away after this. Let's just not lose our Trundle, bro. He did just discard Quicksand to his Fleeting, so he's down one of those as well as a means to stop this attack. Okay. Oh boy, is he going to kill our Trundle? With a Mystic Shot in hand to go with the Crystal? Why else would he play it? Okay, maybe he's just spewing. He's a little upset about the outcome of the game. It's too bad these Blighted Ravines don't hit face anymore. just be ending the game here. Well, we might win at some point. One day, I think we could do it. We thought on that one for a while. We might be continuing on this grind fest. Nope. Okay. Whew, good job, Field of Rush. But see, that's what I'm talking about. It's these, we run into some of these matchups that are going to have to grind on for a little bit. It makes me want to just have like one more big card that's not a spell. And I don't know if that should be like a Commander Ladros or just another like big expensive 8-drop or something. But feels like I don't want all of our hopes and dreams to be tied into having a winning hit from a Field of Rush into a bunch of Shurima decks. Then, you know, on the flip side of that, you have to play against pirates on occasion. So it can be tough. With this start, I'm going to go for Sculptors. If we have to run into a 2/3 predict next turn, then it's kind of worrisome. And then if we run into Hexite Crystals, it's also worrisome. So I'd like to come out here and just at least build up our health a little bit, since this attack this turn's likely going to be bad. But we'll do what we can to play around the inevitable Hexite Crystals. They didn't come in and just blow us up, make us super upset, so that's a good start. Definitely looking to drop Broadwing this turn, though. I want to take the Zillion down.
practicing, and it's not perfect. Look,
If your prediction is correct, we have much to look forward
Right.
to.
Not an exciting Mirai Warden, but enough to get the Broadwing its challenger. And so the space we're going to look to get ourselves into now is this build-up of Island Navigator into Gen VV into the Golden Aegis. We have lots of nice options that we can do once we're able to get these scouts on the board. I assume he's going to attack and we're going to get to clear out some of this stuff. Just have to see. Right, I would fully expect Echo to be coming in here. Dang, he flipping already? That's fast. And ultimately what we're going to look to pull off, I think, well, we're going to be short. I was looking to get a Gen VV on 6 and then a 10 mana Golden Aegis for Demacia on 7. But I think we're going to be a little bit short of that. Why is he committing all this stuff? He only has 1 mana, so he can't AoE us. Let's keep the Broadwing back to protect against Echo. I want to have multiple angles to try and take him down, I think. Well, we're going to have to overwrite something on our next turns. What's slightly awkward with this? Or maybe we're okay with this, like just going ahead and giving up a Durandi Sculptor. No, I don't want this token. Oh, that's tough though, because we are getting at like a realistically low health total, and if he starts to combo off on us, we'll struggle a little bit. Okay, so let's put a block in. We can lose 1 Sculptor, it's okay. You can't AoE this board down. We lose the unit. Island Navigator comes down now. And then next turn we're going to come in with Gen VV.
My strength is yours.
Okay. Incoming Zillion. I ain't scared.
hey, it's Zill. Totally didn't know you were coming.
We also had sarcasm in the Cathia, you know.
So we do have to worry about chrono breaks a little bit, but we do have enough like blockers just to go around forever now. I think it's kind of okay. The scary thing is we're not going to be able to lethal this turn, and so he can kind of ignore what we're doing to a degree.
These woods belong to us. Steady hand.
All right, we'll come in. He needs a combat trick over here to the left. Like there is a a reasonable argument to send Gen VV into Echo as opposed to the Broadwing, but the -2 attack doesn't matter either way, right? -2 attack doesn't hit our formidable, so he's gonna have to have a quicksand here. If he doesn't, like if he has the quicksand, it's gonna kill our unit either way. I'd rather him just kill our worst unit. Not bad. So Time Bomb will clear out. Oh, he's chrono breaking. Sure. I got that too. I got that emote, bro. This is not my first rodeo.
I do my own stunts.
See, ultimately not super scary. We'll block with the Durandi. She's gonna die anyways next turn to the Time Bomb. So he gets the chrono breaks out of it. It's fine. Uh-oh, you didn't play your free time trick, dude. Second Aegis. Alright, well I want to start with this. If he's going to immediately play a second time bomb, I don't want to lose our Gen VV. It's not like ultra necessary that we're able to attack with an Island Navigator this turn, but I'd like to get Gen VV down. The second piece of the thing here, we haven't seen this come up quite yet. This is something that you tend to do against something like Pirates, as to where Pirates will play super heavily, trying to keep you from getting an activated Radiant Guardian on the board, and then you usually can't attack with a Radiant Guardian, right? You get into this spot to where you make it an attack, your opponent kills something in the middle of that combat, and then now that that combat's done, you play your Radiant and you don't get to attack that turn. But with your Scout attacks, you can find yourself in the spot to where you can add Radiance to the board. Don't need to do it right here, but you have some options. This feels like a very greedy attack. Drops us to 3. He only has 1 mana left after this. Probably need to prevent the 5 out of Echo just in case. I don't want to get like this Echo hit, 1 damage from Time Bomb, 2 damage from Mystic Shot, and then get killed that way. I mean, fucking cats. We've got the option, right? We can play the Golden Aegis this turn. I think we probably have to. This isn't like a really good one, but like, what else are we getting out of this turn if we don't go for that? Right, we're just going to be at risk of him leaving Echo on the board. No, this is not ideal. He's come back pretty far out of this. I was expecting to have like a little bit more juice on the board than what we're presenting, and that was what losing out on our initial Golden Aegis took from us.
Hold nothing back. Blessed is motion. Don't touch it.
Now, we should have attacked with the soldier in the background as well. He's just going to die to the Time Bomb. The whoops.
Slip through my pores. This is our way. It's not safe.
Alright, so where do we find ourselves next turn? Like, what I was hoping that we'd be able to do would be to get a 4 Demacia going with our scouts. Our scouts are all just like a little bit too small now, though. I don't know how long. We can stall for a long time with the Radiant Guardian, but doesn't like stop any of his combo style plays. Right? I don't want to be in a grind fest against this deck. Let's see. Just draw something good. That'll solve all our problems. Not quite. Alright, so I think we just have to kind of restart here. Let's add the Vanguard Sergeant. We'll add the Radiant. We'll attack. And then let's see if he's picked up another Echo. We've killed 2 Echoes at this point, right? We've seen two of them are dead, so he's only got 1 Echo left. So we do have a little bit of time. The downside here is we don't have the rallies left. So the way that you would ideally be clearing this out is we'll get a full board, we'll play 4 Demacia, we'll kill all of his units, and then we'll get to follow up with a second attack. Right, because it doesn't matter. All of our units right now could be 10-10s. We're throwing 10-10s in front of these dum-dums, and it's still not enough to close out the game. And now with only 1 rally left in our deck, it's going to be hard to pull all this off. We do have, like, the scouts. If we can protect our scouts, we might be okay. But this is ultimately a pretty scary board.
Our struggles have built this empire.
You're covered.
Right, it's going to be tough to get a bunch of scouts down and manage all of this. Only take one this way. If we pull back our other scout, I think we need to keep this scout so our 4 Demacia doesn't suck next turn. Okay. And then if he has a chrono break, we're probably dead. But we'll we'll deal with that when it comes to it.
Nice to meet you. I'm Isla.
Do we ever just hold on to the Island Navigator now? Because if we hit a 1-drop, it's going to be terrible. Or a 1 health unit. I think we're fine. It's like if we have to like specifically draw Genvivi for it to not work. Or I guess if we draw Quinn, it's problematic as well. Or right, because we can't add all of that and Quinn.
I sculpt what others only dream of.
It's still just like way short of doing anything. Okay. We'll call it a day. In seasonals, we would have finished that one out, but here I don't think that's super worthwhile. But right, you can see the importance of the rallies. The same thing here applies to the Sun Disk deck in that they tend to flood the board with just garbage, and you have to be able to attack twice to rally through them. Right, reasonable enough start. I'm not gonna hang on to the Ranger's Resolve style cards. Maybe we need to pick up another like 1-drop or 2-drop. If we had another unit in hand, we could probably safely hang on to the Ranger's Resolve. But I want to get our combats going. It's pretty tough to find these boards to where they just have a bunch of ruin runners and stuff to try and combat our larger units. Interesting. All right, we'll put the Roiling Sands onto Misfortune. It'll be okay. We'll have lots of protection as the next turns roll around. Now, ideally, we'll be able to pick up another 2-drop and just get the attacks going, or another 1-drop or another 2-drop, so we can have 2 units down next turn. F. Oh, it gives up Mana Crystal for that. Wow. Wow. Okay. That's aggressive.
My shield is yours.
Okay then.
Protect and strike.
I don't think I've ever seen someone get that aggressive onto a Misfortune. Alright, not losing you just yet, Broadwing. We might need you. If his play here is Zerath, then we're going to want this Broadwing. Okay, no blocks. I don't want him to get the landmarks just yet. And this is a pretty strong board for our Genvivi next turn, being able to take down a 3-power unit and then potentially trade into something bigger. Does life change with the addition of Misfortune? I don't think so. The big thing that we can do with the addition of Misfortune is we can go into next turn, play Genvivi and Golden Aegis. Maybe she's okay here. Because then we don't have to worry about interacting with the Endless Devout. Keep him locked out of landmarks for the moment. We want, I mean, our attack is probably just going to be good. Alright. Okay, we'll wait. We'll play it slow. I don't have the cojones to just go in big here. this will be a big round next turn. Getting the double attacks this turn, and then having a scout still on board the following turn with our misfortune flipped. Feels good, man. I'm going to put the Aegis onto our Broadwing here. The thing that would ultimately be awkward is if we get the rally okay, that then he uses a quicksand onto our Genvivi to take away her scout. I guess he can still just spread it out, but I want to definitely be able to attack twice this turn if we can. I don't want our Genvivi losing her scout ability. That's what's going to let us get 2 misfortune flipped attacks in next turn. All right. He's all about it. You weren't due to survive, girl. That's okay.
The Emperor commands, the land obeys.
Honor guide me.
Okay, this attack it won't deal any damage, but it may get the Doomkeeper off of the board. If not, it'll get a healthy chunk of damage in. All right, you really need to have some big things happen this turn. I like it. We're gonna look to Golden Aegis next turn, and so if we can protect Genvivi with the sharp sight, and then go into next turn and Golden Aegis and for Demacia, that should hopefully finally maybe be enough to end it all. Yeah, fearsome, right? Okay. Good old Zersai hatchling. Doing the Lord's work, as they say. But I think we're good here. Should have real trouble protecting this Azir. Even if he does, the flip isn't super scary. He still needs to get the Xerath on board with a dead landmark to start popping off on the Sun Disk. That's not going to do it for you, my friend. Rip him. Think we did it. GG. All right. So we'll push ourselves into the final battle. See if we can't crush someone's hopes, crush someone's dreams, end their path to the seasonals. So let's get to it. Okay. Ready for it. Get the shutdown. Okay, so we got a big control decky looking lineup coming at us. It's kind of odd seeing these lineups people do that have the Anivia control deck, the Darkness deck, and then like at least historically, Gwen Callista Noxus is a combo deck, right? I think like I'm pretty okay with playing against this Gwen deck, like regardless of what it is. I'm going to come down here and just ban out the Anivia, right? We are okay with Darkness. All of our matchups are okay for Darkness, right? We're playing this kind of idea that everyone's going to ban Kai'Sa. We're playing 2 matchups that are good against Darkness, and then I think we're fine to just play against this wild card of a deck, whatever this Gwen thing actually is. And I'm not super upset. Like, I don't know. I thought that combo deck was done for. I thought people played it for like a week and then they were done. But Guess we'll find out. Okay, up against the darkness. I don't think we want the avalanche here. I guess... Like, I have the faces of the old ones, and I'm really kind of interested in just finding an 8-drop, but maybe we have to hang on to avalanche. Just, it gives us quite a bit of board stall. We'll wait on the faces of the old ones. We don't have anything to ramp with it yet, and so I don't want to get entirely involved with it. And we may find ourselves in a spot to where this Twisted Catalyzer doesn't get to deal any damage. Let's keep those darknesses small. Okay. So we'll get the bank here. Now we're good to drop Blighted Ravines. And then we can go into next turn with this nice 3 bank. That turned out okay. I think we want to go with the Blighted Ravine as opposed to an Avalanche, just given they don't have a ton of units that can actually survive this. And so with him already at a 2 bank with 4 active mana, there's a pretty good chance that they're not going to get to add any units to the board. So that felt pretty safe to me. Now we're going to drop the Avalanche, clear out this Roadmaker, and then come in with the faces of the old ones. Not in a huge hurry to get this Ithit Stairs on the board. I hopefully just get to use it as an AoE machine. Okay. He may not have the big damage darknesses, but he's certainly got the cheap ones. All right. Get our big boy down next turn.
Anything can be scattered to its elements, even us.
Well, there's no real reason to get it down now. I was going to play it until we drew faces of the old ones. Let's see if we can't find a Feel the Rush. She Who Wanders will work. She will indeed work. There would have been an argument to say play the Kindly Tavern Keeper last turn, right? So we could get that 3 heal, but like I think I'm okay with just hanging on to that extra mana. So if we find ourselves in a spot wanting to play 2 spells, then we already have that spell mana banked up. I don't think that the 3 heal is going to be ultra relevant in this match. All right, you got a Vengeance or you got a Many-Morph? Which are you playing today? Pokey Stick. That's not it. That was neither of the cards that I just mentioned.
Big head, big brain. Behold brilliance.
Sure if he can ever take down a She Who Wanders.
I smell a fight.
It's a very odd attack. I mean, it gets the deal the point of damage to something, but I tell you.
I'm not done.
Oh, we could have we could have drained Tryndamere, but we wouldn't have gained a point of health. I don't think he's ever going to deal 6 damage to She Who Wanders, but having this extra avenue would have been nice as a way to close out this game. Ruination, huh? Okay. Killing our little spider. I do not approve. All right, avalanche for the spiderling. I'm ready. I'm ready. I don't know how you all feel about it, but I'm on board with doing any means necessary to get that damage in. Okay, he can trade this out, right? He can block with the Dark Bulb, and then he can darkness down our Ithid Stairs, but, I mean, he's got one card in hand to our 3, and our top decks are just way better than theirs. So I think it's fine to just go ahead and go for that little bit of a trade there. Okay. Oop, missed call, there you go. Had to let a kitty in. All right, so let's see who draws better. Trundle, pretty good draw. Vagar, pretty good draw for him. Fortunately, we have the mana for everything. And we can't block. Oh no, we have 6 health now. I forget that like Trundle has gone through an exceptional amount of nerfs and buffs and changes. He's got 6 health now. He's kind of branded in my brain as being a 5 health unit in his kind of penultimate strength in Expedition. All right, wreck him, dude. Get ready for a beatdown. Sure. All right, we are exceptionally far ahead now. See if that Field of Rush pops up. Similar in She Who Wanders.
One ghost down, thousands to go.
Rip Senna, we appreciate your efforts.
Getting dark.
That doesn't do anything. I feel like we've done it, boys. I don't want to call our shot, but I think this game is done. Cool. Good to know he's playing Minimorph. It's kind of a toss-up as to whether or not these the entirety of the removal package that these Darkness decks are playing, whether or not they're playing Withering Whales or playing the Viego Drain 2, whatever that thing is called. We saw this guy play a Wallop. I didn't catch if it was generated by Conchologist. It shouldn't have been. The way that game sequenced, I don't think he even played it, and it was pretty late in the game when it came down, so it may be a thing that he's running. And then the big one is whether or not they're playing Minimorph for Vengeance. And you get to see you get to see the the deck list in seasonals, and so you just kind of know. And here we got, it's nice to get that little bit of information that Minimorph could be coming at us. And then here, this isn't like spectacular, but I feel a little bit better with Rite of Negations against what should be this combo deck. It's like I don't really want to start with Rite of Negation, but I imagine that this is that deck to where you're trying to get the 3/5 Hallowed unit that attacks and summons a new thing. You want that new thing to be a Ruined Reckoner. Then the Ruined Reckoner generates the 0 cost spell that gives you a free attack. You play the free attack thing on your Hallowed unit. The Hallowed unit then brings back a Ruined Reckoner. The Ruined Reckoner puts the 0 cost thing back into your hand. You play the 0 cost thing onto your Hallowed unit. The cycle continues. I'll stop there. I'll stop repeating it, but I think that's what this deck is doing.
I was born in Hellbent. I cannot leave.
But we'll lead out with the Elder. I don't think there's going to be like too much small stuff coming at us, and so there's no real reason to get this this Blinding Assault down and on the board. I mean, sure. It's still a decent hook next turn into the Spiderling with Void Blaster. We might be able to get a reasonable amount of damage in here. I'm not really looking to be like Blinding Assault into Durandi Protege. It's like we have a good just unit-based curve here, and we don't have to do weird shit just to jam keywords onto the board. Alright, so I'd say I'm pretty confident now in him playing the Ruined Reckoner deck. As he drops the Ruined Reckoner. There may be an argument to not kill it here, right? But I still feel safe with our having the Rite of Negation in hand. He's not going to combo off on us. We also have the Concerted Strike to shoot down the Hallowed unit before it can attack. I mean, what it's looking more realistic like that will happen this game is we just play Kaisa this turn, and then next turn we look to... I was going to say play Blinding Assault and then protect with the Rite of Negation, but we could also look to Supercharge. I don't know what this style of Dex removal suite's going to look like, and so we're 100% going to Blinding Assault. Now we get a chance to see if they spend any mana, and of course if they just spew all of their mana, we can drop a Supercharge. But I think it's gonna be safer just playing it slow, trying to pick up the 2 traits. Oh, well, he's gonna do that, huh? Made it easy for us. He's already played 2 Vile Feasts, so if he's got the 3rd one to stop our 2nd skin here, then good job. What else are you supposed to say at that point? So no overwhelms, but we're going to crush his board here, absolutely. Got a golden Aegis for next turn as well. He's lost a Hallowed unit, right? So he's going to start in on the combo, but we'll just kill him after that. Is that too clever? I don't want to be too clever. We need to put the ability onto Kaisa so that her Acacian range should close out the game. GG. Not sure if there's there shouldn't be anything in the world there that stops the missed call from, or the missed call is the card I'm saying. Like, we had the opportunity to Concerted Strike the Hallowed unit as a way to try and shut off the combo, but is that the way that we want to go when I don't think they play Missed Call, but Missed Call would allow them to just bring the unit back and then proceed with the combo. I mean, our Kaisa is big enough to just block the unit. And so if he had to spend the mana, had no mana, he can't cycle through the combo because the unit just dies. But it's interesting seeing that thing pop up. But man, so we pushed through. Sorry if that was your means to getting into seasonals, my dude. Hate to blast that away from you, but we had to get some practice in. And so, not a bad set of games. Sorry if we got a little salty with that dude that just took forever. It reminded me of an idea with poker. And it applies to life and finding testing groups and getting along with people at work and well as stuff. But in poker, you need to be good, right? And being good at poker is kind of an objective term, in that if you want to be successful at poker, it's a matter of finding people that are worse than you. And you can be successful at poker at any level of stakes, as long as you're able to assess the table and find people that are worse than you, and you pick on people that are worse than you, and you are extremely cautious against the people that you deem to be better than you. And that's the way it works throughout the stakes. And the way that you kind of grow at poker is if you need to kind of just make money, then you seek out these smaller games to where you're just better than the people that you play. And if you're looking to grow as a player and get stronger, then you'll go up to a set of higher stakes, knowing that you're probably just going to lose. But you do have to play against those people that are better than you if you ever want to consistently play at the higher stakes. But the kind of thing that comes in with poker is that you are there in person interacting with other humans, and if the people just don't like you, they won't invite you to play anymore. And so you can kind of get away from that at the casino, but you don't really want to be upsetting the fish at the table, because they'll just get up and leave. If they don't come back, their money's gone. And then the grinders are going to get pissed at you. And so there was this kind of, aspect of poker that you can't just sit there and be a fucking nerd the whole time and not be interactive and not, chit chat with the people and talk about football or whatever. And just essentially be like that guy that we played, to where they're roping every single turn in a casual event. And, you can't say that that's a part of the game, and that's just some of the gamesmanship that you'll run into, and that's always going to be there. But if you are looking to, advance at a player and find a group to play with and a group to grow with and find a team to play with, probably don't want to deal with that either. Sure, there's going to be a handful of people that want to deal with it, but in general, people aren't. And so I don't have the rules of the answer, but I do know that as you're playing the game and you just say, I don't want to do this anymore, then something's wrong. And I feel like I'm not in the minority when it comes down to playing matches like that and feeling like you just don't want to do this and you don't want to play. And so I don't know. If we were at seasonals, that's a place where I think it's expected and okay. As you're just playing in a casual event, I would have just quit if I wasn't recording the event and putting together the content. And so it's something I wish I had an answer for, but I don't. But nonetheless, we got through it. We powered through. We persevered in the end. Got the victory. So we got our victory there. We got our last chance glory denial for someone else. And that is also the end of our video. And so I hope everyone enjoyed the video. Hope you learned how to bitch about those damn ropers a little bit better. Hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.